Many international fans have been wondering, does anything we did and do matter? Is Valko gonna be forgotten? Is he gonna come back? Why nothing is certain, and I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I want to share a part of the situation that many global players may have not seen yet. I wrote a huge script that is 11 pages long. I'm not good at looking at the camera, so I will show you all of this featuring videos as well as screenshots, so please bear with me. It's been a super long while since I've been in front of the camera. I'm like very nervous, but I wanted to do this. The entire situation is very stressful for everyone who is involving themselves in this boycott. And I don't think that things like hopium and copium are necessarily helping. In fact, the entire time from the 30th of June until the 6.0 update on July 9th, it made me feel miserable. What a boycott needs is a clear mind, facts and proof, and things that are actually happening to be able to keep going. There has been so much misinformation shared on YouTube and X that has not only made Valko fans either upset or up in the clouds, but it also has put a drift between Valko supporters, boycott supporters, as well as those that do not support him. This misinformation has created 3 factions within the global fandom, and I think that would not necessarily happen if misinformation was not spread. While I am on the side of the boycott and on the side of Valko, what I think is a bit sad that people that spread this misinformation and don't delete it. So if you have maybe spread misinformation, maybe take it down. It would like put out the heat a little bit, you know? I think it's just sad because we all have this same interest and love for the game, and instead of fighting together, we are alienating players and fighting against each other. But we're gonna do this for another video maybe. Today, I will go over very quickly what happened until the day of the cancellation in China, and then focus on the hardships as well as the current achievements the Chinese girls have made this weekend, and what you can possibly do to help further. As for who I am and why I'm confident to speak about this matter, I have been a player of the game since day one. I have seen both sides of the story because I in fact was not on board with Valko on the day of his release. You could say I was a victim of misinformation and my own personal bias, which was like a bit stupid. Things happened, and ever since then I have been very active on the Chinese side of the fandom and trying to spread information between the two as best as I can, between global and the China server. A video explaining everything is easier to digest and spread around, which I also want to make a quick disclaimer for. You don't have to ask me to spread this video. You can repost bits of it on Twitter and TikTok, and for the Chinese fans possibly seeing this, you can post this on Weibo, Bilibili and xiaohongsu. I don't care. I would be happy if you would send it to me or credit me. I'm gonna leave my social media underneath because I would enjoy seeing what you did with it and if it's helping in any way. Very well-known and long-time YouTuber Connor has made an amazing video where he talks about the entire situation in a very respectful way, highlighting not only the situation with Valko, but how outsiders are looking at women enjoying otome games compared to how men enjoy content catering to them as a whole. But because he has a life, contrary to me, he didn't talk about anything regarding the boycott and what has been positively happening in China. So today I want to fill the specific hole of the story. Also, if I need to stay locked out any longer and not see my husband, I will lose my shit. So let's get into this video. Chinese and global perspective. Connor already made a good job about this part, so again, please check out his video, but I want to put out more information. Basically, this reaction to Valko and the boycott that had already started in China on the day of his introduction has a lot of layers to it. If you are a complete outsider, for many months, players of Love and Deepspace have been feeling neglected in both regions. We have been asking for more diamond resources, more endgame ways to farm them. Global players have been expressing issues regarding outfits clashing with darker skin tones that makes them less inclusive, and many more. The most vocal one is about the main story. To many outsiders, this game is a gooning dating simulator, but when you actually get in touch with players, what gets highlighted the most is the story. Whoever is writing for the main story, as well as the individuals for the boys, is doing a phenomenal job. Personally, I'm a lower player, I'm attracted to games with a rich story, and this game got me hooked really quickly. What hurts is that the game is taking way too long to update with the main story. The last time it was moved forward was in January 25 with the introduction of Caleb, a character who was highly anticipated due to his existence as an NPC in Chapter 4 of the game's debut. That is 1 year and 6 months waiting time for a game whose loudest praise is the story. And that is baffling if you take it into consideration. Not many games would be alive anymore or have the same fan base, but Love and Deepspace fans are really loyal to the game and they keep going. At the same time, to understand this better, next to the main story, each love interest gets their own story simultaneously going forward, so it gets further involved. Everyone but Caleb has had such an update. Silas and Zane got their brand story in May 25, and Raphael and Xavier got theirs in January 26. That means that he was not only left out, but he has also been waiting for the longest time. So when Valko came around, the positivity of a new main story, not the branch, was very small. Caleb and Silas still do not have the same amount of content as the debut lineup. Naturally, and I was part of this, I will not deny it, I was pissed. I was really pissed. Both regions were utterly upset. Caleb mains felt neglected even more, and fans of the other characters felt like their money had been used to develop a new guy instead of the favorite, which is a huge debate I will not get into. I just wanted to share the facts in the current situation of the video and why people reacted that way and felt that way. Not very smart. Infold's answer was to put out more Valko trailers, hoping that something would stick, but they were still not well received and it was already too late. The hate kept going, it escalated to the outside world. People sent funeral flowers to the office, cow poop, and more. Controversy after controversy came out. Fabrication and lies were created. And 2 days after saying that Valko is a long-term project, they scrapped him and uploaded the cancellation on June 30th, promising the end of his development and the existence of only 5 love interests forever, which is really interesting for an Otome game that usually consists of more or keeps adding more over the years. But the boycott within China did not stop. A misinformation that is going around a lot is that everyone is boycotting because of Valko's removal. And it is being used against fans to create a rift between supporters and antis. That is simply not true. What is true is that his removal has become part of the boycott, but it is way bigger than just the removal of this character. Ask yourself, if Valko is really the only issue, wouldn't the boycott have stopped already domestically? Wouldn't players be happily playing and spending again? No. This removal made nobody happy. Nobody got what they wanted. The main story doesn't move forward, and with the removal of Valko, will most likely have to be retconned, which means that previously stated facts and stories have to be ignored or rewritten, creating a different story than what was originally intended from the developers. We don't know how far this is, because in an interview the devs have said that they have no clear goal for the end of the story as of now. But usually games like this, live service games, they're always 1 or 2 years ahead, which means depending on how important Valko is for the plot, retconning has to be done somehow. As a Caleb main, I'm afraid it's gonna be Caleb because these two characters have ties to Ever, and if you don't play the game, they're sort of like this villain faction that we have been working on towards since the beginning of the game. The consequences. Within China, the boycott continues. But the situation is getting worse. The environment within the Chinese fandom becomes more toxic day by day, and the officials are doing nothing to stop it. They have not spoken to both regions since the cancellation, and all their usual post activity has stopped, which for a gacha game is insane because their whole scheme and their whole advertising is keeping people updated. They have only made 3 withdrawal announcements from real-life events, such as Bilibili World, which is a huge expo in China, and if I'm not mistaken, the biggest expo in China, but please feel free to correct me on that, and 1 maintenance issue post, because after the update went live, many people, or basically everybody, had an issue. Everybody had to repair the files, lost tons of memories in form of pictures, as well as the diaries, which I have been affected from as well. Yay, I had pictures from 2024. Thanks, Infold. If they are ignoring us or if they are not allowed due to politics getting involved is nothing that can be fact-checked, so I will not mention it. Factually, we do not know why all their post activity stopped and they went into a social media blackout. To the fanbase, it feels like Infold have succumbed and bowed down to bullying and bullies and differences in aesthetics instead of putting their foot down and sticking to their words. Connor mentioned that Chinese players said that Valko looks gay. But that is a little bit shallow. It was indeed one of the issues, and the developers made a China-only statement where they promised all the guys are heterosexual, but that is not all of it. If you are an Otome player, Valko's face does indeed stand out a lot. It is not the usual look that Otome games go for, especially in Chinese games, due to difference in beauty standards from Western and the Asia side of the world. While it is refreshing for one, it can be perceived as ugly for another, and due to beauty standards, the majority is probably gonna think that it's not the type. That is exactly where information from people who have been around comes into play. Even before the cancellation, Valko and his supporters got sent terrible hate and threats. You don't even have to be his fan, main or girly, what we lovingly call it here, but you can simply be on his side to be harassed. This led to the positive comments underneath his second and third trailer to be completely suppressed by hate comments and also supposedly created bot comments. If you said something nice about him, you would be spammed with hate and private hate messages, creating an echo chamber of toxicity. Of course, when you open something and you see, it's just naturally what we humans do, you see a lot of dislike for something, I would probably also not have opened my mouth. That is why even less supportive words were there, because even if you had them, you were seeing how other people were bullied severely and spammed, and you would probably just, for your peace of mind, keep quiet and stay out of this drama. This is xiaohongsu post from a Silas main perspective that took a liking towards Valko that had 1,000 likes and 6,000 comments. The huge majority of them consisted of hate, telling her to delete her account, that she was betraying Silas and she was betraying her country due to the Unit 731 incident. Media fabrication and lies. Between the day Infold put down their foot and supported Valko and the day of the cancellation, news outlets started spamming social media in China, slandering both the game and Valko by creating fabricated videos and stories. For Valko, there are many things. They claim that he was trespassing and broke into MC's home, that he assaulted her and made her feel uncomfortable. For people that do not play this game, MC is basically us, the player. You can customize her, and that means that he was assaulting us. Infold has always branded Love and Deepspace as a game made for women because Otome games means for women, and such content comes up and is brought to outsiders as well as people who already had a negative opinion. This is alarming. Again, I am someone who was on both sides. I have no time to waste energy on something I dislike. I did not engage with Valko's content at all, so at the time I did not watch those trailers myself. When I saw the rumors claiming that he was being aggressive towards us, the player, and trespassing, I just rolled my eyes because I already had such a negative view recently about Infold in the game that I was seriously thinking, where are we going with the plot? Because I, like many women on this earth, have been subjected to assault by men. So when I saw that, I was like, why? As for Infold, they were accused of crossing the red line, which means they have violated strict thresholds set by the Chinese government. This is due to a story chapter within the game that had content called 731, which the media claimed is a reference to a serious insult to the history of China. For those that don't know, Unit 731 was a secret research facility operated by the Japanese army during the Second World War, committing various war crimes. I will not go into detail what they were doing, because reading what experiments they did around 200,000 people of China and the Southeast Asians generally will make you throw up. Like, because nobody survived that. They were doing... No, I'm not gonna go into detail because it's really fucked. It's fucked. Putting this onto Infold and onto Valko basically meant death to him and death to the company. It is June till 10th of July. All of this combined made the Chinese player base as well as outsiders boycott the game and Infold even more. But global fans of Valko and those that were thinking it was unjust started a movement that has since been branded Bring Back Valko. As of today, 13th of July, we have had 6 million posts on X so far, and at least, but most of the time multiply of his hashtags keep on trending. He hasn't fallen out of the trends for almost 2 weeks. World Cup was and is happening, and Taylor Swift got married and we still made it. You know, I'm old. I have been in many fandoms. I have seen many of those situations, but I've never witnessed something like that. Google and China, they have lost thousands of followers on all of their social media. Their App Store and Play Store ratings are going down further with 1-star reviews, and a lot of players have either stopped spending or stopped playing, or both completely. When the 6.0 update came out and Valko was nowhere to be seen, as stated beforehand, many players lost hope at first. For 9 days, both regions were boycotting, not playing, not spending, and trying to put things about Valko on global and Chinese social media. After a brief slump, everybody realized that this is actually where the real boycott and movement begins. Not only for this promised character, but for the game and its many issues. For the sake of not making this video too long, I will focus on what exactly happened positively towards Valko in the past few days and how you can help if you want to do more. And again, the Chinese fans have stated how important our work on our global social media is, so this does not mean that you have to do any of this. It is also just a reminder and a refresher for those who feel a little hopeless, and to be able to see what is going on the other side of the world, because both sides are working hard. The truth. Until now, I have not cleared up any of the accusations towards Valko and Infold, because in the narrative, nobody except for a few small minority within China and the Chinese fandom knows the truth. Right before and after 6.0, Valko fans kept on trying to get positive topics and hashtags about him trending on Weibo, such as highlighting the amounts of charities the boycott has supported both globally and in China. Right before the update, Xiaohongsu was hit by a massive flood. Fans in the name of Valko have donated to the victims, but despite gaining a lot of traction on Weibo, it struggled to trend on the charts, even though it surpassed other trending topics. And those people that did find it claimed that it was done out of maliciousness and not out of the kindness of the people. So the Chinese girls had a brilliant idea around Saturday, 11th of July. Posts on Weibo kept being taken down. Every positive thing about him felt suppressed. So they took to xiaohongsu and started a new campaign, clarification videos. Together, a group of fans created one video that gained a lot of attention. As of writing this script, the video it is the first time since his release into the world that something about him has had so many positive comments in one spot. In the comments, many people have expressed their frustration and disappointment about the fabricated lies. Outsiders who had only been passing by as non-players and deemed the character terrible joined in as well. Of course, there are also people only there for the drama, they still don't change their opinion, but you sort of have to understand how big this is. During his teaser videos, positive comments were completely overwhelmed, and the bullying was so severe that people who liked him would rather not say a word. This comment section was the first time it was the other way around. It was the first time that people saw the truth without anyone else trying to suppress it. There are speculations and very valid sound theories on who, but again, I only want to speak tangible facts in this video, keeps trying to put the video down. Multiple times, people could not find it on their homepage. This video kept going back and forth to the point it is now on follower only. The bravery inspired many Chinese girls to come forward and post their own clarification videos, as well as support those videos by quoting them in their own posts and forwarding other people to sad videos with positive words about Valko. Now, as an outsider, you may ask, what clarification videos? What is there to clarify? Well, everything. I have only mentioned the balcony scene earlier for the sake of not repeating myself more than I already am in this video, but basically anything that happened in Valko's trailer was twisted into a negative light. The video this blogger has made clarified all of it.
I don't want to let Aoying take the blame, so I'm making a clarification for him. This video can be reposted without authorization. First, to explain the most controversial so-called breaking into a room through a window, this plot comes from Aoying's Bond storyline, which requires players to know the male lead and even increase their bond before they can watch the storyline. Each of the 1.03 male leads has a chapter of acquaintance and unlocking bond storyline, and another chapter of bonds that can only be unlocked in episode 40, episode 50, and episode 55. Xinche's bond storyline requires 15 episodes to unlock, while Xia Yizhou only needs 5 episodes. The unlocking level for each male lead is different, which confirms that the bond storyline needs to be unlocked based on the degree of acquaintance, but without exception, it is triggered only after they have already met. Therefore, this part of Aoying's storyline also happens after they know each other, so there is naturally no claim of a strange man breaking into a single woman's home. From a series of interactions, it can also be seen that Aoying and the player are not strangers, but rather newly acquainted frenemies. Ignoring the premise of mutual affection and only discussing illegal entry is taking things out of context. The law in reality punishes actual violence, while game plots are fictional narratives. Applying real-world laws directly to virtual actions is a logical fallacy of concept substitution. Games are designed to guide players in real-life imitation and have age restrictions, so legally they do not constitute a violation. The removal of Aoying by DICE sets a very bad precedent, and in the future, any plot involving such non-routine interactions may be censored due to public opinion associations. Second, to explain do not bathe in the pot. Actually, this comes from a Greek myth. As far as I know, this is the earliest legend about humans turning into wolves. The most direct evidence is that Aoying's badge has the word Lycos on it, and Lycos is also recorded in Greek mythology, literally meaning wolf. Moreover, the earliest king turned into a wolf by Zeus was named Lycaon. Third, to explain bringing a wolf into the house.
What's wrong with inviting a wolf into the house? As long as you peek in, he will open the door for you.
This is the complete sentence, and the next one, he will open the door for you, uses the male pronoun he, and in the English dub, it directly uses him, clearly indicating that the wolf, in leading the wolf into the house, does not refer to himself, but to the player. The evidence is that in the PV, it can be seen that the player's initial contact with Aoying is to learn about the secrets of the wolf clan, and Aoying voluntarily becomes the player's research subject, narrating the origins of the wolf clan, directly confirming the phrase, as long as you peek in, he will open the door for you. As for why the player is a wolf, in the first PV, we wear a wolf mask, pretending to be a wolf to infiltrate the wolf clan's territory in order to investigate the secrets of the wolf clan. After Aoying discovered him, he said, "You think putting on a wolf's skin makes you a wolf?" This is the follow-up to his comment about what's wrong with inviting a wolf into the house. As for his relationship with Abba, whether he is a villain, etc., I didn't want to simply explain it with the male lead of the game won't be a real villain. I wanted to let the suspense linger a bit longer. The truth will be revealed on July 9th. But when June 30th arrived, I didn't want the main storyline to be completely altered in the future. I still hope for the return of Aoying, and I will patiently wait for the lilies of the valley to bloom and happiness to return.
As you can see, as if someone was writing a reality TV script, everything was fabricated. Things were taken out of context, and the political pressure of 731 was not helping, even though this topic has literally nothing to do with Valko. Everything was blown out of context and people just rolled with it. The girls had another idea. Yesterday, 12th of July, fans started using indirect formats to discuss the controversy and reach people who might otherwise ignore direct support posts. So, instead of speaking positively in their text posts quoting the clarification videos, they knew they had to get this to a broader audience and people who have been lied to. As of now, the last thing I have seen was yesterday, where a blogger on Weibo started a huge giveaway in hopes of slowly getting something positive to trend about Valko. In order to enter the giveaway, you need to use certain hashtags regarding him and repost it. This is in hopes of getting something to trend. Because, once again, there were other posts about Love and Deepspace today that have way less interaction, and these posts are trending, but somehow posts that are going and having really much interaction about Valko are not trending. It's clicking, right? I'm not gonna say it. Oh, you can help. As stated at the beginning of this video, you're already doing enough. You don't have to burn yourself out. A huge step is already simply not playing and or not spending, as a drastic negative revenue change will sooner or later force out a move or a possible statement. But if you would like to respectfully help on the Chinese side of things, there are a couple ways to do it. First, you can search for Valko's hashtag on xiaohongsu. I will link all of it in the description so you can copy it and try to bump up the traction of it. Do not spam or otherwise it might backfire. You don't even have to speak Chinese to do this. You can simply comment things like up or support, if you are afraid of saying something wrong. If you want, you can also post positively about Valko yourself. As for Weibo, you can go into a super topic and either repost the giveaway, and you can try and bump up positive posts about him. Again, please do not spam, or otherwise this would be negative for the posters and as well for the entire movement. Also, talking about super topics, please do not go into the other characters' super topics and be careful on the game's super topic. Personally, I only post in the super topic for Valko specifically myself and like and comment things on the main super topic. Do not make it look spammy and keep the peace, because otherwise this will look really weird and invasive. Closing thoughts. Alright, 5 hours of script writing later, and it's been like 7 hours in itself, and now I have to edit this. I hope that nothing major happened while I was making this video. I hope this could possibly make some of you guys mood restored and have you reassured that nobody's giving up. We're like literally in maybe one of the highest phases right now, and nobody's giving up here and nobody's giving up in China. A boycott is a marathon and not a sprint. A boycott is something that puts pressure on a subject over a long matter of time. China has been in a boycott for almost a month now, and people joining in for Valko have hit 2 weeks tomorrow. Time flies, and soon we will all look back at this. What we can do is not live with regrets and get active with something we love. I miss this game, and I miss the story I was so invested in, and even though there's often drama in the fandom, especially as a Caleb main who has a lot of contact with the Chinese side, so obviously I follow the Chinese localization, it can get pretty rough, but all in all, it was never like this. And I just honestly want a good game for all of us. I want the complete game, I want peace, and even if I did not like Valko as a character, I would probably be sitting here. Because the game just does not feel the same anymore. I can't really look at it right now, and all of this has been stressing me out so much. I lost weight, I can't sleep, but I know I'm not alone. Hours and hours trying to help and spread things, and knowing that other people are doing the same, and we're all this community is like really cool and keeps me going, because usually I'm a really introverted person and I don't really talk on social media, and all of this is like, I don't know, it's kind of, when I try to be positive, I think it's almost cool. Even though I cried a shit ton last week, I think it's kind of cool, and I love being able to be part of something like this. Many factors also keep me very hopeful regarding Valko. I just don't want bullying to win. I don't want fabricated media to win. I don't want the company to hide and not address all the issues that both regions have been complaining about for months, and we are silently strung along hoping for change. I don't want people to fight anymore. I just want what was promised, and I want change. I want a good game for women, because finally we had something good for us, and it was tainted and ruined. Thank you guys for watching.